Hey everyone, it's Mr. Anderson again. We're going to continue our journey into section 3.2 of our CPM CCA book. And today would be effectively the second day of that deep dive. By this point, a lot of students typically ask in class, hey, what's the purpose of some of these algebra tiles? Why are we playing around with them? And today, hopefully, we answer at least part of that question for you with the concept that you guys have known for quite a while, and that the thing that we're going to tax, the thing that we're going to use, is going to be this idea of a rectangle. So we'll try to answer that question. Hey, what can I do with rectangles? And we're going to start with 3-45. This is usually one of the most fun activities in class because students get to play. The problem is we can't do that. We're not in class. We don't have the ability to pass around manipulatives right now due to the COVID pandemic. So what I'm going to ask you guys to do in just a moment is, once we discuss what's happening, I'm going to ask you to click on this link and your CPM ebook will open up a set of algebra tiles for this problem. And I'm going to ask you to kind of pause the video and play, and I'll explain in just a moment. We've got a grouping of algebra tiles here, and it is a single x squared tile. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 x tiles, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 unit tiles. And our job today is to look at this in two different ways. To look at this as a product and to look at a sum. And the idea is to explore that area model. Now, we've been working with area for a long time. We know that the area of a rectangle is the base times height or the length times width. And doing so is going to allow us to investigate that rectangle both ways. And that's what we're going to hopefully, that's the box we're going to hopefully have checked by the time we're done today. So if you click on this link, it'll bring up this e-tool, and the e-tool looks like this. And we've got a brand new mat today. And this thing is called the corner mat. And this is where we want to be. All right. We've got the corner mat, and the corner mat is going to have us setting this up for a reason that might not be apparent yet, but I promise, setting this up using that corner. Now, if we were in class, I'd have something a little more physical for you, but we're not in class, so we've got to go with this. You are going to want to take this hint. You always want to start with the X or Y squared tile in that corner. And that's why when you click the link, it'll already be put here. And then your job, and I'm going to get you started here in just a second, your job is going to be to take all these other tiles, the X's and the units, and I want you to build this out and see if you can make a rectangle out of it. Okay, now check this out. Here's what I'm talking about. I notice that I can take this tile and I can line it up, and it conveniently snaps into place right there. Likewise, I could do the exact same thing here. I could do this here, and I could keep going. All right? But I could also line something up there. Now, here's my question. All right? No matter how I line these things up, will I be able to fill in this void and create a perfect rectangle? It's looking really good so far, but the problem is I've still got some tiles left over. All right, if I try to sneak them in right here, did I make a perfect rectangle? That would be my question. Here's what I'm going to ask you to do. I'm going to ask you to pause this video. I'm going to ask you to goof around, and I'm going to ask you to see if you can build a rectangle out of this set of tiles. Okay? All right, hopefully you paused the video. Hopefully you gave it a second. Hopefully you tried this. If you didn't, I'm going to reveal the answer here in just a moment. But ladies and gents, did you get it? Were you able to build a rectangle out of those tiles? I promise I had the same tiles in my rectangle right here that you were playing with a moment ago. I got an X squared. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 X's. And I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tiles. 8 unit tiles. Okay, and our job right now is going to be to go back here and try to sketch this out. So I'm just going to take a pen. I'm going to draw in my corner grid, and I don't know, that was kind of like a light blue color. Let's go like this. Big X squared tile, and then I got 1, 2, 3, 4 like that, and then I had 1, 2 like this, and then the other ones were dark blue. So we can kind of do something like this to show that we had eight unit tiles. There is my rectangle. Now, here is going to be where some of this new learning comes in. Because part B, after we have that sketch, says, hey, what are the dimensions? What are the length and the width of this rectangle? Okay, and length and width are going to be available right here to me. I've got the length, which is this piece, and I've got the width, which is this piece. And here's why we spent some time in the previous lesson talking about the perimeter of these shapes. Remember, this is an x squared tile. It is 1x wide, or 1x long. This is an x tile. This is 1 unit wide. 1 unit wide, 1 unit wide, 1 unit wide. And likewise, x units long, 1 unit long, 1 unit long, or the dimension is 1. And I'm going to write this on the picture I just made in A. So this thing right here is going to be x. This is 1, this is 1, this is 1, this is 1. This is x, and this is 1, and this is 1. So what are those dimensions? Well, it looks like I've got x and 1 and 1 and 1 and 1, which is a total of 4. And then the other dimension is x and 1 and 1, which is x and 2. Now, I could leave them separated just like that, but the question invites me to write it as a product of length times width. Now, here's what I'm going to invite you to do. I want to multiply that whole thing, but I want to leave it so the dimensions are available. So here's the way we do that. And again, we're setting the stage for some future learning. We write products this way, grouped using sets of parentheses. So this thing right here is going to be the length, and this thing right here is going to be the width. And folks, this ties back to some of our earliest learning with area and shapes, because we know the area of a rectangle is length times width. So I've taken this rectangle that we just built, that mess of algebra tiles we had a second ago, and now I've given it a different representation using a length and width, okay? Part C conveniently is going to ask us to build on that. Part C says the area can also be written as the sum of all of its parts. Write the area as the sum of its parts. And folks, we've been working on this for a long time. We can go back up here and I can now name, and I'll just do this in using a different color so it stands out. We can now name all of these items, and we can do so, well, let's see, remember we named by their area. That's an x squared tile. This is an x tile, an x tile, and an x tile, and an x tile, an x tile, and an x tile. And then I've got 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay, and I can put all those things together. I can combine those like terms, and I've got x squared, write the largest degree first. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 x's. And then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 unit tiles. Now check this out. This right here is the area. This right here is also the area. But this, ladies and gents, is an area written as a sum. This, ladies and gents, is the area written as a product. We are going to be far more functional problem solvers if we can write that both ways. Okay? And folks, for the first time, and we're setting the stage for future learning that we probably won't get to until try 3, we are allowed to write these two areas because they're both the exact same thing, right? They both say area right here. I can set that sum equal to that product. And for the first time, we're seeing this, and it's not maybe going to have as deep of an impact as it will have soon, but for right now, this is a pretty gosh darn big deal. We've taken something we've known, we've written it 2 different ways, and we're going to be able to, like I said, do some pretty effective problem solving with this concept, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead. Let's practice this another time or two. This is with 3-46. I've got a couple more expressions, and I'm asking you to join me in writing these two things, A and H from 3-46, as what's it called? Products. Okay, we've got the sum, and I want the product. So I've got A right here. And let's go ahead and just build it. This one's kind of nice and kind of easy. So look at what we got here. I've got that going there, and I've got that there. I've got that there. And if I do this, you can see that, God, where am I going to put these to make that work? So what I've got to do here is take this, and I'm going to rotate it, and I'm going to stack it just like that. Okay? Now check it out. How wide is this? X and 1 and 1. That's x and 1 and 1. That's going to be x plus 2. All right. What do I got right here? X and 1. Well, that's actually pretty nice. So here I've got the area as a sum. Here I've got the area as a product. And golly gee, they, just like before, are going to be equal. One more of these, and then I'm going to show you why something is significant. I've got 3x squared, plus 4x plus 1. We're going to do the exact same thing. I went ahead and set this one up ahead of time. A little more complex, I got some more tiles floating around, but I can do this again. Now, think about how tough this rectangle would be if I went and stashed those like that. I'd have to get some stuff going around the side. I'm not in love with that idea. So why don't we try something like this? And then I'll take this and put that there. I'll take this and put this here. And holy cow, this one looks like it is going to shape up nicely. Check it out. I've got x and 1, so that's going to work out to be simply x plus 1, or x and 1. Now this is going to be a little more complicated, but still not too tough. X, x, x. How many x's were there? 3 of them. And one more. That's going to be 3x plus 1. All right. I set this up on purpose to give us two that worked out really nicely. But folks, we are asked the question, if it's not possible to build the rectangle, explain why not. If you had a situation where a rectangle was impossible to build, you exhausted every single opportunity, you couldn't figure out how to do it. Now, don't get me wrong, if you tried one thing and you didn't get it, it doesn't mean there's not a way to build a rectangle. But if you tried every single possibility and it just wasn't working, you may have a situation where it is not possible to write the area as a sum equal to the area as a product. We don't always have the ability to build the rectangles out of a random smattering of tiles. Okay. Next thing, this I stole right out of your CPM book. This is a very meaningful bit of math notes here, and in a nutshell, it takes the exact concept we just went over and it gives you an example and it formalizes it for you. All right. If I were you, I'd pause the video, or I'd go to section 3.2.2 and I'd find this and I'd throw these down in your notes. That way they're going to be accessible whenever it is you need them. All right. This is a big idea. And as I mentioned, you heard me say this will serve us later. I promise when we make it to the end of try 2 or even into try 3, this is going to be a useful skill, and to have it available for recall is going to be valuable to you. There are a couple review preview questions. They are simply 48 to 50 today. That's only 1, 2, 3 problems. Please give every single problem a shot, show your work, and get ready to submit your homework. Ladies and gents, thanks for watching. Have a great day.